Inside the towering stone walls of a medieval castle, guards lived between two worlds, the harsh, freezing reality of the outside and the tense, shadow-filled silence of the interior. Their duty was simple in theory: protect the castle, watch for danger, and never let their guard down, but in practice, it meant enduring endless nights where fear and cold became constant companions. A medieval castle was designed to intimidate enemies and withstand siege warfare, not to provide comfort. Its massive stone walls, narrow corridors, and elevated towers created an ideal defensive structure. However, for the guards stationed within, these same features created an environment of bitter cold and echoing emptiness. During winter nights, the stone absorbed the freezing temperatures and released them slowly, turning guard posts into icy chambers. Even near burning torches or small hearths, warmth was temporary and localized, quickly swallowed by the surrounding stone. A typical guard's shift began long before sunset. Preparation was essential, as nights in a medieval castle demanded readiness for anything, from sudden attacks to internal threats or fires. Guards checked weapons, tightened armor straps, and took their positions along battlements or within watchtowers. The armor itself, often made of iron or steel, became another source of discomfort. In winter, metal turned painfully cold, sticking to skin and drawing heat away from the body. In summer, it retained heat, but during winter nights, it was like wearing frozen weight. As darkness fell, the castle transformed. Shadows stretched across courtyards, and torchlight flickered along stone walls, casting shifting shapes that played tricks on the mind. Guards learned to interpret every sound: the creak of wood, the rustle of wind through arrow slits, the distant echo of footsteps in stone corridors. Silence was never truly silence in a medieval castle. It was a layered presence of subtle noises that could either signal safety or danger. Fear was not always dramatic or visible. It often came quietly, in long hours of uncertainty. A guard standing alone on a high tower during a winter night might spend hours scanning the dark horizon, seeing nothing but black fields and distant tree lines. Yet the knowledge that enemies, wolves, or bandits could appear at any moment never left the mind. This constant anticipation created mental fatigue that was often worse than physical exhaustion. A guard did not simply watch the castle, he waited for something to happen that might never come. But if it did, hesitation could mean death. Cold was an equally relentless enemy. Medieval castles lacked proper heating systems, and guards stationed outdoors or in drafty towers suffered the most. Thick wool cloaks and layered clothing offered limited protection. Wind cutting across battlements could strip warmth from the body within minutes. Guards often shifted their weight, stomped their feet, or paced short distances just to keep circulation flowing. In extreme cold, even speaking became difficult, as breath turned into visible mist that quickly vanished into the night air. Rest periods were brief and unreliable. When not actively on watch, guards slept in shared quarters that were still far from comfortable. These rooms were crowded, dimly lit, and filled with the smell of damp wool, smoke, and unwashed bodies. Straw bedding was common, laid directly on cold stone floors. Even in sleep, guards remained partially alert, conditioned by routine and necessity. A sudden alarm bell or shouted warning would send them scrambling back to duty within moments. Food provided only minimal relief. Meals typically consisted of coarse bread, salted meat, and thin broth. In winter months, fresh supplies were limited, and preservation methods like salting and smoking were essential. While meals provided energy, they did little to warm the body fully. Many guards relied more on hot drinks or weak ale when available, using warmth as much for psychological comfort as physical relief. Despite the harsh conditions, camaraderie played an important role in survival. Guards often formed tight-knit groups, relying on shared experience to endure the long nights. Conversation during quiet shifts helped pass time and reduce anxiety. Stories of past battles, local legends, or simple humour became essential tools for maintaining morale. Even silence shared between comrades felt less oppressive than solitude. However, discipline was always present. A medieval castle guard could not afford distraction. Superiors enforced strict rules, and failure in duty could result in punishment or disgrace. Guards rotated positions to avoid fatigue, but the system never fully eliminated exhaustion. Over time, sleep deprivation became a constant condition. The body adapted, but only to a point. Many guards lived in a state of perpetual tiredness, their senses dulled, yet still alert enough to respond instantly to danger. One of the most psychologically challenging aspects of the job was the unpredictability of threats. Unlike soldiers in open battle, castle guards faced uncertainty. An attack could come at night, during fog, or even from within the castle itself. Suspicion was always present. Every unfamiliar sound or shadow carried potential meaning. This constant alertness shaped how guards thought and behaved, even off-duty. Winter intensified all these struggles. Snowstorms could reduce visibility to near zero, while freezing winds howled through battlements and towers. Torches struggled to stay lit, and pathways became slippery with ice. During such nights, the castle felt less like a fortress and more like a trapped vessel in a frozen sea. Guards stationed outside were often left numb in both body and mind, focusing only on surviving until their shift ended. Yet despite all hardships, medieval castle guards played a crucial role in the survival of entire communities. Their vigilance protected nobles, servants, soldiers, and everyone living within the castle walls. Without them, even the strongest fortress would be vulnerable. This sense of duty, though often unspoken, gave meaning to their suffering. Many guards accepted their role not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. As dawn approached after a long night, the castle slowly changed once again. Darkness retreated, replaced by cold grey light filtering through narrow windows and open courtyards. Guards ending their shift felt the weight of exhaustion fully return. Muscles ached, eyes burned, and the cold seemed deeper after hours of stillness. Yet there was also relief, the knowledge that another night had been survived. Life as a medieval castle guard was not measured in comfort or joy, but in endurance. Each night was a test of strength against elements, fear, and time itself. The stone walls that protected the castle also imprisoned its inhabitants in cycles of cold and vigilance. And yet, through endless nights of darkness and freezing winds, these guards stood firm, forming the silent backbone of medieval defence. Their story is not one of glory, but of persistence. A medieval castle guard lived a life where survival itself was the achievement. Cold, fear, and endless nights were not exceptions, they were the reality. And still, they watched, they endured, and they stood their ground until morning came again.